What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a hot one today. You can see I'm sweating. Anyways, we got our hunters from PJs Customs. It came in yesterday. I wasn't here yesterday though. So here you can see that's the harness from PJs Customs. And I just gotta go through. They're all labeled very nicely. Got the coils. So on V6 is 1 through 3 and 4 through 6. So just have to go through, like that's a coil number 6. So that's gonna go right here. So we just gotta go through and get our harness laid out how we want it and get everything connected. Really nice having everything labeled. I got most of the harness connected up there. I even got the starter wire ran down here, and it's gonna go around the starter and come in and tie into it right there for the signal. Got to shorten it a little bit, put a new end on or terminal on it because he didn't terminate it because he didn't know exactly how long it needed to be. So then we got to run our power wire for the starter and some other jazz. But I went ahead and stabbed an axle in here. This is the original B series axle from the passenger side. We put it here on the driver's side, and this is kind of the same setup I had with my K-swapped RD1. However, this one has an issue. As you can see, it is really, really, really close to our fork here. It's like the whole setup is shifted forward compared to the other one. And whenever we turn, say, I don't have a rack and pinion in it just yet, so I could freely turn this. So say if we turned it as if we were turning to the right, you can see it clears no problem, all right? But if we turn it as if we're turning to the left, it's hitting the fork. So my dilemma now is, do I try to trim the inside of this fork to clear and then maybe weld a piece on the outside here for reinforcement, or what? This is kind of the thing's been holding me up for the last day or so. This is the weekend, so I actually did this yesterday, but it just really thrown me for a loop. This is really the first major setback I've had with this. You know, everything else is kind of going pretty seamless for the most part. But yeah, it just kind of got me thinking. I don't know, like I looked at some of the MPC drop forks. They're shorter, but I don't know that would alleviate this problem. I also looked at the FCS race forks. Those are made to be able to put the axles in and out without having to remove the fork, so they got a wider mouth. But those things are $600. They're pretty pricey. And I don't know for sure that would fix it, because I don't know if it's just opened wider on the back, because the back one is straight up and down, and that's not where our issue lies. So kind of leaning towards trying to trim it first. What's your guys' take? What do you think I should do to alleviate this problem? I haven't got the stuff to do the lower control arm on the passenger side yet, so I haven't gotten to that side. But what do you guys think I should do? Should I try the drop fork? Should I try to modify these? Should I get the MP or the FCS race? What? Or is there another one out there that I'm unaware of that would give me more clearance? I don't think the axle's going to be in a bind per se. The way it is, it's not any kind of crazy angles on it. But something's got to change. All right, so I kind of think I've come to a solution on the fork down here. I bought some MPC forks that didn't work. It was worse, like it had the wheel pretty much locked at this angle because it couldn't turn it. The axle was hitting. So as you can see down here, we got the stock fork still. But you see, no matter how far I turn it, full lock, it's not hitting that shock and moving it anymore. Now, granted, I do have it loaded up because it's got the jack stand under here. But I trimmed out some of that, the fork, and then additionally, I elongated the holes in the brackets here. You kind of see like part of the old hole there. So I made it to where this whole bracket here could slide back, and then I elongated the holes in the transmission mount to where the transmission could slide back just a little bit. And by doing that, it pushed the whole engine back just a little bit to where it would have the clearance that I'm going to need right here. So heck yeah on that, man. Also, I got the fuel lines pretty much situated yesterday. I've got the PJs harness on here. I went ahead and got that ran to the cabin. And then we've got the AC lines hooked up. I've still got to come back around and put the rubber grommets on these. Got to put the pressure switch in, that kind of stuff. But you can kind of see the lines back there. Battery fits. And you can't see any of the AC stuff. So to people unsuspecting, they would probably think that this thing has no power steering and no AC. But it does have, well, it doesn't currently have power steering because it has no steering. I don't have the rack and pinion in here yet. But I have the Volvo electronic power steering, and it does have AC. You can see the AC lines down there. Condensers up here. Then here on the lower side of the vehicle, you can see I got an OEM skid plate on there right now. I want to get this replicated, but I don't want to send it off to a company like PLM or somewhere like that to white label it and they replicate it and sell it themselves. So I'm looking for somewhere to be able to send this off to, have it replicated and sell them. Super rare. It's the only one I've ever seen in person. Cody gifted me that. So thank you, Cody. But on the exhaust, you can see the motor doesn't hang too far below the OEM skid plate, so I think we're going to be good on that. I got my starter signal wire on there, and I've kind of got most of this exhaust kind of dummied up, tack welded into place. That clears there, comes back, merges. All right, I'm not a welder too, so don't judge me based off this. I've just got it tacked into place. We got a flex here. I got to replace this one because it actually broke already. I've got a little resonator in here. Exhaust hanger. We got another V-band back here. There was a V-band up there too. So I'm trying to think of ease of service. I'll be able to take this out if I need to. But anyway, I got a V-band here. And then this kind of loops over. Got a hanger just tack welded on here. I got to chop it off. And I'm going to take all this down and weld it out. Got a Vibrant Stealth muffler that looks awfully crooked at the moment, but we can straighten that out. So we'll do that. Maybe. I may have to cut off my tack welds here and cut the brackets back off up here to twist it. 'Cause I ain't leaving it like that. So I got my new lower control arm for the passenger side here. And so what I was talking about on the bushing is right here for the CRV, it has a 19 mil hole, or the bolt that goes in it has a 19 head, like where the Integra or EG uses a 17 mil. So it has to be 17 mil to be able to go into the subframe right here, right? Well, you see you can put the EG DC bushing in here, but that's kind of a lot of work and it's difficult. And I got the bushings right there, but they didn't fit right. So I had already got the old bushing out of the other arm, and to keep it serviceable to where, like if I needed to buy a new control arm, we're gonna use these. These are OE Honda, all right? I'm gonna be selling these on the website. But what it does, it slides in here. It's tight. Put two of them in there, stack them, and it makes it to where it's now a 17. 17 goes in here and it's tight, and it won't let it flop around. So it just takes up the slack to make it, like I said, to where it's 17 rather than 19. And if you need to replace the control arm because you bent it or whatever, just pop those those little sleeves out and replace it. No big deal. But you do have to use the EG rear bushing, or DC rear bushing right here. Okay. So did have to use that. We can't use the CRV one anymore. Shee, buddy, I figured out the passenger side axle, man. I'm hyped. I've tried a couple first gen axles with some different configurations, changed the intercup and whatnot, and it didn't work. They were too short. This is actually one of them right here. This would have been a passenger side axle, but I put a different intercup on it, and the bearing is the inner bearings, the tripod is like literally I can feel it through the boot. So too short. I even tried a stock RD1 driver side axle. It's too short, did the same thing. So this, well, on the Yeeter, I put a second gen axle over here and it fit perfectly, but the second gen axle doesn't have the ABS ring. And since I'm leaving ABS on it, I want an ABS ring, okay? So this axle actually came out of a 03 TL Type S. Maybe you'll see it where I've got it wrote on the axle there when I removed it from whatever TL it came from. But it fits perfectly. I had to change the inner cup. I put the inner cup from the, like a B series on it, K series, whatever. They're all the same. But it had the other end, not like that. It had the end that would go up into the transmission on this axle. Put it in, it fits perfectly. Turns fine. The only thing I see is the dampener here is rubbing on just a little bit on the shock fork when you turn to the right. So what I'm going to do is just shave down the shock fork just a smidge to clear that, because I don't want it messing up my dampener. I really like having the dampeners on there to reduce vibrations. But I think we are in business with that axle, man. I'm hyped. Currently, I'm trying to figure out how to be able to run a sway bar up here. On the Yeeter, I did not have a sway bar because it doesn't really fit, right? So I figured out what end links I need to use. It'd be Acura Integra GSR, like a 01 model, and I'll show you those in a bit. But my issue is putting the sway bar up here. It's hitting the control arm right in this region here between that mark and that mark. So I'm going to grind this out a little bit on both sides. See where I've got this one marked as well. Grind that out a little bit and see if we can make clearance. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little bit of catching up to do. It's been, I haven't been very diligent about filming. I've been trying to get stuff done. I've pretty much got the suspension stuff wrapped up now. You can see here, that is that sway bar link for the GSR. See how it has the 1 and the 1. Some of the Integras have this on both ends, so just make sure that you're getting the one that looks like this. That's the part number for the sway bar end links. If you need it, I got these off Rock Auto. You should be able to copy that part number, go over to Rock Auto, and either find these exact ones or find some that are compatible. I did get the sway bar to fit. You see, I had to notch out a little bit in the control arm there, and I just once I notched it out with my grinding wheel, I just put some more black spray paint on there and covered that right back up. You can kind of see there where that one's a little bit notched out, but got all that situated. Got the rack and pinion installed. If you haven't done one of these before, the rack and pinion is a DC rack, but we have to use CRV inner tie rods because they're longer. The outer tie rods are the same. I did go ahead and put new inners and outers on mine, as well as new bellows. So these boots here are called bellows. And then you have to use the upper piece for the steering gear is for CRV. So you take it out of the CRV rack and bolt it into this rack. I went ahead and got some stuff done on the top too, so I guess I'll lower it back down. There's that steering gear from the Integra. So you can see it just unbolts the two 12mm bolts right here and right there. And then it just slides up out of there. Then I just reinstalled the lines from the Integra rack onto the steering gear for the CRV. Anyways, let's lower it down and check out what we got going on up top. So here on the top, you can see there's the lines that I've ran from the steering gear there. Those will go to my electronic power steering. I'm going to go with Volvo power steering, electronic power steering. I've got that one. They got two different styles. They have one with the reservoir built onto it, essentially. You see how that has a cap to fill it there. And then they have one with a remote reservoir. And I think what I'm going to do is get the remote reservoir. I bought that one thinking it would work. And it probably could, but I would rather be able to put my power steering right here and then put the remote reservoir up in this area here to where I can, you know, fill it with ease without having to remove the bumper or the headlight or any of that kind of stuff. So that's why that's not done, but these lines here will go to the electronic power steering. Well, guys, I guess that's going to wrap up today's video. I'm trying to break this up in a few pieces just to keep it from being so drug out and long on one episode. I mean, I guess I could put it all in one episode, but I'm trying to break it up a little bit just so it's not, you know, 40 minutes or more. But on the next episode, we'll be just buttoning up more stuff in the engine bay and getting it closer to being started. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that you can continue to follow along with this build. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.